Wikipedia page says business magnate.
What would you call yourself?
I'm a business magnet. Can someone please change my Wikipedia page to magnet?
They'll change it right now.
Please
It's probably already changed.
It's locked. So somebody has to be able to unlock it and change it to magnet.
Someone will get
I want
that.
to be a magnet. No, I do engineering and manufacturing and that kind of thing. That's like 80% or more of my time.
Ideas and then the implementation of those ideas.
That's like hardcore engineering, like designing things,
Right.
Structural, mechanical, electrical, software, user interface, engineering, aerospace engineering.
But you must understand there's not a whole lot of human beings like you. You know that, right? So you're an oddity.
Seems yes.
To chimps like me.
We're all chimps.
Yeah, we are.
We're one notch above a chimp.
Some of us are a little more.
What did you want to talk about freely?
How dangerous AI could be. I realized that these things will one day get smarter than us, and we've never had to deal with that. And if you want to know what life's like when you're not the apex intelligence, ask a chicken. So there's risks that come from people misusing AI, and then there's risks from AI getting super smart and deciding it doesn't need us.
Is that a real risk?
Yes, it is, but they're not going to stop it because it's too good for too many things.
What about regulations?
They have some, but they're not designed to deal with most of the threats. Like, the European regulations have a clause that says none of these apply to military uses of AI.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
One of your students left OpenAI.
Yeah, he was probably the most important person behind the development of the early versions of ChatGPT, and I think he left because he had safety concerns. We should recognize that this stuff is an existential threat, and we have to face the possibility that unless we do something soon, we're near the end.
So let's do the risks and what we end up doing in such a world.
It could be audio. It could be computer code so that it writes a program for us. It could be a new image. It could be a text, like an email or an essay you've heard, or video. Now, in this lecture, I'm only going to be mostly focusing on text because I do natural language processing and this is what I know about. And we'll see how the technology works, and hopefully, leaving the lecture, you know how, there is a lot of myth around it, and it's not, you see what it does, and it's just a tool, okay? Right, so the outline of the talk, there's 3 parts, and it's kind of boring. This is Alice Morse Earle. I do not expect that you know the lady. She was an American writer, and she writes about memorabilia and customs, but she's famous for her quotes. So
yeah, it was the beginning of the end. It was it was the moment when it just, I had completely left the reservation, and there was that's fair. Yeah, I think people might have respected the commitment to it. That I knew there was no turning back.
I do respect that, man.
Right?
You burned your boats.
Yeah, if you're gonna go, all the way is the only direction that you know, right?
You definitely went.
Theory.
I think we are in one. And there is a lot of agreement on this, and this is what you should be doing in it, so we don't shut it down. First,
I see messages all the time in the comments section that some of you didn't realize you didn't subscribe. So if you could do me a favor and double check if you're a subscriber to this channel, that would be tremendously appreciated. It's the free thing that anybody that watches this show frequently can do to help us here, to keep everything going in this show in the trajectory it's on. So please do double check if you subscribed, and thank you so much, because in a strange way, you're part of our history and you're on this journey with us, and I appreciate you for that. So yeah, thank you. Dr. Roman Yampolsky, what is the mission that you're currently on? Because it's quite clear to me that you are on a bit of a mission, and you've been on this mission for, I think, the best part of 2 decades at least.
I'm hoping to make sure that superintelligence will
3% of you that listen to this show regularly haven't yet subscribed to this show. So could I ask you for a favor before we start? If you like the show and you like what we do here and you want to support us, the free, simple way that you can do just that is by hitting the subscribe button. And my commitment to you is, if you do that, then I'll do everything in my power, me and my team, to make sure that this show is better for you every single week. We'll listen to your feedback, we'll find the guests that you want me to speak to, and we'll continue to do what we do. Thank you so much. Vanessa Van Edwards. For someone that's just clicked on this conversation now, and they're wondering why they should stay and listen to what we're going to talk about, what would you say to them?
Very highly successful people speak a hidden language, and that is the language of cues. If you don't know how to read the cues people are sending to you, if you don't know how to control the cues you're sending to others, you are missing a crucial element of success.
How do you
choose? So finally I was like, I know it. So I raised my hand. They're like, great, we got a project for you next week. So I was like, all right, I have like 3 days to figure out what Visio is. And I hope I can actually figure out how to use it. Now, luckily, it wasn't like a programming language. I mean, it's pretty much a drag and drop capability. And so I literally left the office, went to a bookstore, bought the first 3 books on Visio I could find, spent the whole weekend reading the books, and showed up and got to work on the project. And so it was a bit of a risky move, but I think that's kind of...
You would caution others against doing this.
Well, but if you don't take risk, you'll never achieve. And so to some extent, everybody's making everything up all the time. It's like, can you learn faster than somebody else? Is what the difference is in almost every part of life. And so it was not playing.
This technology is going to get so much more powerful. And yes, we're going to go through a period of disruption, but at the other end, we're going to create a fairer world. It's enabling people to run their businesses, make a lot of money.
And you can solve meaningful problems such as the breakthroughs in global healthcare and education will be phenomenal, and you can live an incredibly fulfilling existence.
Well, I would just say on that front, this has always been the fantasy of technologists, to do marvelous things with our spare time, but we end up doom scrolling.
Loneliness epidemic.
Right, falling birth rates. So the potential for good here is infinite, and the potential for bad is 10 times. For example, there's war, undetectable deep fakes, and scams, so people don't understand how many different ways they are going to be robbed.
Look, I don't think blaming technology for all of it is the right thing. All these issues, they're already here.
We're all fathers here. So what are you saying to your children?
Well, first of all,
this has always blown my mind a little bit. 53% of you that listen to this show regularly haven't yet subscribed to this show. What did you want to talk about freely?
How dangerous AI could be. I realized that these things will one day get smarter than us, and we've never had to deal with that. And if you want to know what life's like when you're not the apex intelligence, ask a chicken. So there's risks that come from people misusing AI, and then there's risks from AI getting super smart and deciding it doesn't need us.
Is that a real risk?
Yes, it is. But they're not going to stop it because it's too good for too many things.
What about regulations?
They have some, but they're not designed to deal with most of the threats. Like, the European regulations have a clause that says none of these apply to military uses of AI.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
One of your students left OpenAI.
Yeah, he was probably the most important person behind the development of the early versions of ChatGPT. And I think he left because he had safety concerns. We should recognize that this stuff is an existential threat. And we have to face the possibility that unless we do something soon, we're near the end.
So let's do the risks and what we end up doing in such a world.